really don't understand, but some people just can't reach the kid, or the kid feel you don't know, you never been through nothing, you had a silver spoon in your mouth, you went to school, you can't tell me nothing. A lot of kids get that mentality, and the school system have our hands tied. Oh, if you're a convicted felon, whatever, we don't want you in the school system doing nothing. School system tried everything else. Won't y'all try, get some kind of way and untie our hands, let us get in the school system and start working with these youth some kind of way. And try to make something happen.
I think a lot that happens is a basic human nature tendency. We give up on each other too soon. We give up on our kids. And I'm adding to what you're saying, because what you realize is the schools are giving up. Parents start giving up on their kids. When the kid shows a little sign, and it's too difficult, the relationship, and it's too challenging, the easiest solution is to give up instead of try, instead of engaging them. And so the school. So I think giving up is part of the problem that we have. Governments give up on their citizens. Society gives up on them.
And one of the things that I think also is that we need to have some, once again, I'm going to use the term innovative, optional learning curriculums.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was actually going to interject with that, and discipline is one thing, and you've got to have discipline, but in reference to boot camps and really any other entity that's trying to take a child, regardless of what age they are, and redirect them, needs to be more well-rounded, especially the boot camps. I think, and being a military man, I understand what that discipline can do for you, where you have to have your stuff like lined up perfectly. Well, that's good, but if you have too much and it's too overwhelming, then you have a child that's completely on defense from day one till the time that they get out. That's right. And while they're on defense, believe me, they're not hearing none of that. So when you talked about some other stuff, some other options, more life skill stuff. And here we go now. Now we got discipline and we got life skills, but where do we make them relax? Now, will they relax really with the discipline? Probably not. Again, they're on defense. Now, with the life skill, is it going to be too classy, educational, classroom stuff? Okay, so there's got to be a component there that gets them more relaxed. It's like the understanding rather than being understood. How do we get to that understanding first? Then we get them to understand us with the other stuff. So that I think that's a good point.
Now, that's a good segue to this article. I have an article here. It has Felton Earls. He is a Harvard psychiatrist, professor, and a researcher. He's a psychiatrist, he's a professor, and he's a researcher. And he's done a study on inner city crime and what we have to do. I used to make jokes that you can't even go to Harvard and get an answer for the ghetto crimes or problems. But I'm wrong. I stand corrected. I'm not going to challenge this gentleman, even though I lived my whole life in the eye of the storm. I lived, what I mean, my whole life in one of the worst communities in America. I hate to say it that way, but it's true. Crime-ridden. But he says that, to make a long story short, what we have to do in order to connect, to make a difference, is to connect. Once we have the trust, just what you said. Once we're not talking at the kid, but we're talking to the child, to the person. We're talking to them, and they feel like, example, when you see a football coach or a basketball coach talk to his players, they listen. They listen, and they're interested, and they trust the coach. So in the young entrepreneurs, this is a coach. He coached basketball. His brother, who's our vice president, is a football coach. So we believe that coach mentality, because the coach wins your respect, and you trust him. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of relationship we got to get in order for our our youth to listen to us. And we're not just limiting our message to the youth. We want people to understand that. Parents, if you want to help your child, you need to start thinking about being business-minded. You need to start thinking about opening a business and show your child by example, not just tell them. You know what I mean? And you're not, don't have the nerve to go out and do it yourself. Going into business for yourself is something that everyone needs to think about, especially in South St. Pete with the opportunities that are being presented here today. In this time that we're here. We want to bring up striving for excellence, because there's another area where small businessmen have a problem. And like in the African American community, And I love the African American community. I've been there all my life, but we have to learn to strive for excellence in our business endeavors. In other words, when you set up your business, it's got to be set up professionally. You know, when we were so happy that you gentlemen consented to come on this show. So everybody that's here has known for a couple of weeks now that we want to really impress Eric Green and Mr. Lucky Guerrero, because they're doing important work in the community, and we want them to see that we can put on that we have a professional show, and that this is a think tank, and this is a show that I get phone calls. People watch this show, and they say, you know, you're doing a great job. Every show is so interesting. So we think we've developed a bit of a reputation, and you know, we want to thank you guys. I mean, we still got more show left, but you know, we really do, and we want everyone to understand. We've had Jeff Shorter, who is the executive director of Second Chance Life Skills Center, where we have an office. He's been on this show. We've had Will Vaughn, Daddy V Productions. He's been on this show a couple times. So this is a show where the people who are doing things in the community, you know, are on this show.
Sure.
And you know, but speaking of the community, one of the things that Eric and I have made it our goal, and we have the consent and the approval of the rest of the board, and our goal is we, in some instances, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We need to support organizations that are already established in the community. When we had the event of Russell Simmons coming to the city, and we knew that he would bring a great message to the community, which is a message of embracing, of uniting, of bringing people together, of different faiths, of different backgrounds. They fell in love with the fact that Eric had the vision to call it Everyone's Youth United. And Dr. Ben Chavis, when he stood up, he said, it's a beautiful name. I love that name, because it's not just Everyone's Youth United, because these problems transcend not only the African American community, the Latino community in this country, and those kids don't see the difference that we adults sometimes see amongst each other. You know, we're learning from them, because when we watch them, they interact with each other. They love the same music. They share the same dreams. And so we adults need to learn that lesson, because sometimes, you know, we learn to pick fights with each other from the schoolyard, you know, all the way up to the courtroom, to the boardroom. You know, corporate, we witnessed situations where we had to ask people, you know, let's put aside all of that and let's just come together. And people listen. But we also included in there, you know, when we went out to the community, we had opportunity to bring the Boys and Girls Club, that we invited all the youth organizations, because there's no need for us to look at each other with suspicion.
Right, you're true. We as a family, we got to get that, what they call undying love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When people talk about tough love, I don't think a lot of people really understand what tough love means. Tough love means that even though you love this person, you know, and they're doing stuff that's wrong, and you're trying to guide them, you still gotta love them anyway. You can't just, you know, say, you know, get out of here. You know, I'm finished with you. I tried to help you. This is it. You know, you don't want help. I'm through with you. That's not tough love.
I have a question. A lot of people, a lot of youth, you know, they are the parents. They look for a starting point. EYU, what do y'all have coming up soon? I know y'all got some big events coming.
Oh yeah.
Some kids, they're just looking for a starting point. Could you share with us some of the things that y'all have coming up?
Well, I mean, our doors are open all the time. Lucky says it best. We accept them as they are, and we were blessed to have purchased a pretty big building over in Childs Park, and it's not even halfway filled capacity-wise on the amount of kids that we could serve there. So we're always open for kids to come in, whether it be to be a part of the band, whether it's to hold the banner when we go perform if they can't play yet. Whether it's to be involved with getting some tutoring and some other things that we're working on. I mean, one of the biggest things in our center that we are putting together is our advanced learning piece, which is in the arts, which is the attractor, back to the same word attractor, which is things like videography and photography and creative writing, web design, things that normally inner city kids don't ever get exposed to. And so those things are in place or becoming in place. And then we also have our major events, such as, and we got the talent show coming up in August and September, and we were able to take this show and make it more than just one big shebang. We were able to, 5 years ago, to put together somewhat of a program. to help expose talent, to help them to get connected to people in the industry. But more importantly, I've noticed even if you come to some of the finals, you've got the whole family there.
Yeah,
the whole family comes and supports.
That's key.
So now for 2 months, from audition number 1 all the way through, all the auditions to the semifinals, all the way to the finals, you've got a buzz in the Bay Area. Everybody's talking about it. Kids kind of don't have time for nothing else but to figure who's still in it, are you practicing, are you getting ready, so forth and so on. And so I've noticed more of a programmatic piece happening.
All right.
I've noticed families actually come together, even if it's for those 2 months. They're behind their relative that's performing. So we've got the talent show, and of course we do a big Christmas party for needy families. Yeah. And besides just helping 400 to 500 kids and their families every December have a holiday that they normally wouldn't have, right, unless we were putting it on. And people wait on these events.
Beautiful.
So we've got all that stuff in place, and we can always use help.
All right. Now we want to say to our viewers that, you know, if you're in the area where you're near Everyone's Youth United, please go over there. If you're in the area near Second Chance Life Skills Center, go over there. Jeff Shorter is a dedicated man. He's with Boys Club for 10 years. And what we have to understand, and the reason why we're calling for unity, is that we know it takes all of us, or the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's going to take all of us to work together to get this problem done. There are many other great programs in the area, and we want you to support whatever program you're going to. If it's a good program and they're turning their kids in the right direction, then we're all fighting the same war.
Right.
You know? And in our striving for excellence, I wanted to use Winky Wright as an example. Winky Wright, if you're watching, we love you, brother. You know what I mean? That they robbed you. I watched it 3 times. Okay, just go back and beat them the second time and make double money. I know you already know. I know we talked before. We want to use Winky Wright because Winky Wright came to Florida from another town, Washington, I think, and he paid his dues. And many of us on the road to success, we have to pay our dues.
Sure.
And, a lot of young people can, make it quick as a rapper, but us working people, the people that love the community, we have to stick with our guns and take the long, hard road. So, Winky, you're our example of striving for excellence,
making it happen,
brother. I think now we want to ask you gentlemen to come back again and be on the show.
Absolutely.
When you're not busy, somewhere down the road, next couple months or so.
After the talent show, that'll be
after the talent show, and we can talk about what you're doing, and hopefully our viewers understand that this is a large problem, and all of us have to be a part of it.
Well, talent show, real quick, I got to interject. With this talent show, we got something special going on. We actually have a national jazz artist, Eric Darius, is going to be involved.
All right.
And we're working very diligently on bringing down someone from New York as a judge. It's going to be a little special thing we'll talk about later.
Beautiful. Mr. Green,
thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Ali,
Mr.
thank
Guerra,
you so much.
Thank you very
it's
much.
A pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you folks on.
Oh, yeah. As usual.
My partner. All right. Thank you for watching Straight from the Streets. Your award-winning show, the hottest show on public access TV.
Straight from the streets.
Straight from the streets. That's where we bring it. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace.
We love you.
All right.
All right.
In the city, blues in the city, we move. Sin City,